Hey guys, this is Tom from Cerulean Bay. Today we have got a really great episode for you because we have a guest who is going to help you unlock the secrets to free travel. And it is pretty amazing what he's got to share with you. So we think you should just take whatever information or things you've heard about before on this topic and just kind of park it on the side for now and listen to what our guest has to say. He's going to share that valuable information and dispel some myths about it too. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. We think you're going to love it. Today, we have Tim Walker joining us, and we want to welcome him. He is here to help explain some travel hacks that you can use about traveling for free and just the ins and outs of that, things to look out for when doing it. And so we're just going to go ahead and jump right in. So Tim, give us an intro about yourself. Take it away.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it. So I am in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. If you're a fan of The Office, that means I live just south of Scranton. So I've been here for a number of years now on the front lines of community development work, living and leading in the poorest community in my city. Had some really incredible opportunities with that. But along the way, what I found is I found myself in a season where I was just buried in compassion fatigue. Really with no ability to be able to afford to get away and enjoy a replenishing vacation. All of that changed when I discovered travel hacking. So now my family gets to travel the world for free. And I launched Travel Multiplier, a business that helps other people unlock the secrets of free travel as well.
Oh, that's awesome. I think this is going to be right up the alley for a lot of people because travel's expensive. I mean, my wife and I have been fortunate enough to travel some, but, it's something you just got to really, really budget for. And what I really liked is how you mentioned the fatigue part of it, because there's things that I've experienced just coming out of oil and gas for a number of years, which if you want to wear yourself out, worked on oil and gas. But there are just lots of people from all walks of life. So thanks so much for touching on that point. So if you could explain, because I know the big question is going to be, well, how's he doing this?
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, if you are listening to this and you find yourself asking, well, what is travel hacking? Travel hacking is a strategic process of layering and leveraging credit card rewards for thousands of dollars in free travel every year. Not a timeshare pitch, no pyramid schemes involved, not bait and switch travel offers, just the freedom of free travel.
Wow. Well, and I think this is something I would say probably some people have heard about because it has been on different news programs here in the Houston area. They focus, most of the channels here, they do have like a kind of a local-ish thing, and they'll highlight a specific travel agency or some specific business. And I've heard about this where people are promoting this, using points to travel. And my wife and I, we have some friends, they're like super into cruising. This is what they love to do. And they've been doing this for years. But I never really delved into it, raising three boys. We didn't have time to travel and all of that. And so I never really fully understood the depth of this because, you have a credit card or maybe two, and you get points with it. And there's so many different things you can do with those points, from like cash back and all of this, that maybe you can explain a bit how many cards are needed for this. And out of all of the options that the banks offer you, which one should you really avoid? Because it sounds like you really should focus on the travel aspect of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I find that a lot of travelers have some measure of familiarity with points and miles. Likely have had some type of credit card or gotten some type of offer in the past. And a lot of times initially, it kind of underwhelms. Like my first travel rewards card I got, I think 12 years ago. And I remember getting it, and it paid for like a couple of off-season nights at the ocean for my family. The boardwalk was already closed down for the season. Everybody had gone home, and I was like, this is it? Really? Like this is travel rewards? I guess there's not much to be had here. Well, thankfully, I didn't give up there because while I think all of us have had some measure of familiarity and experience with it, really the uniqueness behind using points and miles and understanding travel hacking is the strategic part of it.
Okay.
So what I often say is travel hacking is simple, but it does require strategy. And without strategy, you end up losing out on thousands of dollars of free travel by cashing those points in for really low value redemptions. So big picture, I would say travel hacking really has three key steps. Step one, is determine your travel goals. And the great thing is you can dream big. There's no one size fits all. You're not limited in your options, your destinations, or your dates. You're able to really figure out, like, what do you enjoy doing? So if you love flying, earn airline points. If you're terrified of flying, don't worry about airline points. That's okay. There are other things you can do. So whether you're somebody who loves cruises and tropical locations, whether you're somebody who enjoys resorts or house rentals or all kinds of different things, there are options for you. So step 1, determine your travel goals. Step 2 would be earning points that align with those travel goals, knowing what are those points able to get you. What airlines do they work with? What hotels, resorts, house rentals do they work with? What cruise lines might be available to you with that? You're earning those points. You want to make sure you're earning the right points, the best points that align with your goals. And then step 3 is redeeming those for maximum value. And again, this is where I messed up all those years ago, where most other people mess up as well. A lot of people will earn credit card miles and points, and then they'll do things like using them for Amazon purchases at Christmas time, or they'll cash them in for gift cards to get a date night with their spouse, or maybe they'll use it on budget airlines or hotels. And oftentimes what you find is the average person typically gets about a penny per point value.
Oh, wow.
Which is really, really low. That's how most people waste their points. What most people miss is not all points are created equal, meaning many of those points are actually worth significantly more than a penny a piece. You can get 5 cents per point value, you can get 10 cents per point value, and that's where the value really starts to multiply. So I'll give you an example. My wife and I are flying to Europe this August to celebrate our 10th wedding anniversary.
Oh, congrats.
We're pretty excited about that. Thank you. And we are flying to Europe in lay flat business class seats. We didn't want the early part of the trip to be ruined by jet lag. So we got business class seats, which if you're unfamiliar with that, you basically get like your own cubicle, a seat that folds down into a bed, an entertainment system, catered food, all of it. So if we had paid in cash, those tickets would have cost us $4,000 a piece.
We've seen that.
Yes, and there is no way that I could ever afford that.
Yeah.
But instead, we ended up booking those seats for 55,000 points each.
Oh my gosh.
If you're doing the math on that, most people would cash out 55,000 points for $550 cash back, or $550 at a budget hotel or something like that. But my 55,000 points got me a $4,000 plane ticket for free. And that's where, when you learn not just how to earn the right points, but how to redeem them for maximum value, you literally now have a world of opportunities in front of you. So those would be the 3 steps. Determine your travel goals, earn the best points that align with those, and redeem those for maximum value.
That, I just feel like I've taken a course in that on my own right here. I never knew, because to know that the points within the points world, there's different kinds of points. But then it just seems to me, because I question everything, that the banks who issue these points purposely don't tell you that. Is this true that they want you to go for the cheap stuff like the Amazon gift card over the plane ticket?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I get multiple emails a week from credit card companies that say, "Hey, cash in your points today for your next Amazon purchase." And I'm going, man, they have really good marketing departments, because their marketing departments are convincing people to use their points for the lowest value possible. Yeah, so it is true.
The average person isn't going to know that. They're not telling you this when you're just like, whoa, I got all these points. I can do whatever I want with them. 1 point equals the same wherever I spend it. And I would venture to guess that most people are just absolutely clueless when it comes to thinking, I can use this on a business class ticket to go to a place like Europe. You know, they would think you need 5 million points for something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That's cool. That's really cool.
So let me give you what I always encourage people to do as the best and first thing you can do if you're getting into this. The best and first card I always recommend is the Chase Sapphire Preferred card. Is an incredible card that gets you incredible points. you get 60,000 bonus points when you spend $5,000 in your first 3 months.
Okay.
So if you spend $1,700 a month on everyday purchases, gas, groceries,
Mhm.
utilities, insurance, cell phone subscriptions, all those things, put all those through your Chase Sapphire Preferred card,
Mhm.
and you can earn 60,000 bonus points. Okay, so those 60,000 points could be worth $600 cash back. But when you're a travel hacker, you know they're worth way more. So bare minimum, those points should be worth at least $1,200 in free travel, if not significantly more.
Oh my god.
Here's where it really gets amazing though. If you're married or you have a significant other, rather than adding that person as an authorized user on your account, what you should do is you sign up for the card on your own, then you refer your spouse or significant other to get that exact same card. You're going to get 10,000 bonus points for referring them, and they're going to be able to earn that same 60,000 point bonus. So now, rather than walking away with 60,000 points, you're starting off your travel hacking journey with almost 150,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards points.
Gosh.
Now, let me tell you, my wife and I just took 150,000 points, and we ended up taking a birthday trip to an all-inclusive resort in Cancun.
Wow.
We got to go down there. This place retails for $1,500 a night. I literally ordered multiple filet mignons at dinner. That's how good the food was. They had infinity pools everywhere. You walk right out onto the ocean. They had a spa. They had jacuzzis on every balcony. This place was amazing. We booked that place for 150,000 points. So literally, just by you and your significant other
Mhm.
each signing up separately for the same card, there's an all-inclusive resort in Cancun that you can get for free.
So, coming from a banking background way back in the day, obviously both people would have to qualify for the card. So,
Yeah.
what would you suggest if somebody maybe has the stay-at-home mom or one of them isn't working? I mean, there are still income requirements to get the card, right?
Yes and no.
Oh,
So typically, it's based more off credit score.
okay.
So if your credit score is anywhere above 650,
Mhm.
you should be in good shape to be able to get the card. If you're married or if within your household one of you works and the other one does not, you can put total household income versus individual income on that application. So we have been in that spot in seasons. I'm a girl dad. I have 2 girls, and in seasons where my girls were younger,
Mm.
my wife was not working because of some of the needs that our kids had for us in that season as a family.
Mhm.
And so in those seasons, signing up for credit cards, my wife would just put our total household income, which at that time was just solely mine, and she would get approved very easily for the exact same cards I was.
Well, we've been there before, raised 3 boys. They're all in their 20s now, but yeah.
Nice.
So that's a good tip to know. And then another question I had is blackout periods. So
Mhm.
is any of this subject to blackout periods?
Yeah, so thankfully not. That used to be something back in the day.
Mhm.
They used to be way stricter and way more stingy with that. And while on occasion you might encounter, it would be more so on the resort side. So flights don't have blackout dates anymore.
Oh, wow, I
You
didn't know
can book
that.
any flight anytime. Yeah. Cruises, same thing. You can book cruises anytime. Every now and then you might find a resort that 1 month out of the year
Mhm.
they might say, "Hey, we're not accepting points."
Okay.
That's very rare to find anymore. Pretty much 12 months a year, what you will find is any resort, any hotel, any all-inclusive or house rental, they will open up bookings for points.
Okay.
They might have a limited number. And so if the rooms or the resort property allotted for points bookings has been booked up, then yeah, they're booked up at that point. But that's very rare. I don't think I've been doing this for quite a while. I don't think I've ever encountered a blackout date where like, hey, I wanted to go somewhere and it was booked up. Because I think we're in a point, especially post-COVID, where because people are more hesitant to travel or the travel brands are trying to rebound, they're being incredibly generous with all of this because they're trying to reintroduce people
Mhm.
to who they are as a brand or a location or a destination or all of that. So yeah, you can go and you can book it Blackout dates aren't really a thing anymore, and you're able to book whatever, whenever, which is great.
That's really cool. I mean, I have very limited experience with actually using points. My wife and I, we have one card and she's an authorized user, so we only have one card. But we did rack up enough points where we were able to go back to San Diego, where I'm originally from, in December, which is low season. And what I've noticed in places like San Diego or Miami, which is our other favorite spot, that, during high season, things are just sold out, period. I mean, you can't get in to
Yeah.
anything. But in San Diego with the points, we stayed at a very cool place down on the water, and it was all covered by points, which we had never done before. The one thing I wanted to ask you about this is because there was something about it that almost reminded me that can happen when you use like third-party booking companies like Expedia or Travelocity, which I'm not a fan of. I've had bad experiences with them. Maybe other people
Same.
love them. But when we booked, we also got a car rental out of this. We qualified for a car rental. We didn't get to pick the company, though, and it was one we had never heard of. And in San Diego, they just built this big, well, a few years ago, a big, beautiful car rental center, and the little bus takes you over there. This place wasn't in there. You then had to catch another bus and get into some part of downtown, which was fine, but it was this teeny tiny little office where they wouldn't even let you stand inside. You had to stand outside, and it was just, something was sketchy about it. I mean, it turned out being fine, but that kind of annoyed me that we didn't get to pick the car rental company. So when you're using points, obviously you get to choose the resort, or you can choose your airline. But when it comes to things like car rentals or anything else, have you encountered any restrictions with that? Because I wouldn't use that company again.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. No, that sounds like a terrible experience. Yeah, I've been there, done that. I'm done with Expedia and Travelocity and all the like third-party bookers. Yeah. So anyway, in the points world, no, think of points as basically your payment currency. So in a lot of ways, it's not like you're having to go through random, obscure, dysfunctional, seemingly shady systems
Mm-hmm.
and middlemen to book things. Oftentimes, you're going straight to the airline. You're going straight through the hotel or the resort website. You're going straight through many of those things. Or in the case of like a rental car, you're going through like the bank's travel portal.
Mm-hmm.
So say Capital One, Chase, American Express, that you're going through their travel portal. But what you're doing is you're getting the same rental car that everybody else is getting because you're doing it through a reputable source. Your experience is exactly the same. So let's say you go to San Diego next time, you rent a car through your points. You're going to walk to the same, airline car rental desk as everybody else once you deboard your plane. So it's not like you have a different experience.
Mm-hmm.
You just have a different payment method.
Okay. Yeah, this was through Capital One, and that was the only weird thing was we didn't get to pick the car rental agency. But
That's so weird. Yeah.
but then we're inexperienced at this too. We might have screwed something up. So who knows? I mean, we're like, hey, we got points. We're going to go do this. So.
Yeah. No, I am so sorry that happened, and I've not encountered that, nor have any of my travel hacking students. That definitely does not sound like a desirable or preferred experience.
So yeah, to everybody listening, you got to contact Tim afterward because he's in the know about all of this, whereas I am not. So, but I will be after this show. So
There you go.
So you've been doing some traveling. I mean, I just have to ask. I mean, what's like the nicest place? Was Cancun the nicest place, or have you guys even been able to stay at nicer places? Because we're all about obviously the tropics, and we've been able to go to Fiji twice, and we got really good deals through Costco Travel, but you still had to pay out of pocket for that. But yeah, what about like the coolest, nicest place you've ever been?
Yeah, Cancun was definitely the nicest to date. Part of the reason is like living in Northeast America, I feel like we don't see the sun for like 7 straight months as snow just like falls from the sky and buries us for a significant part of the year.
Not for me.
So I'm pretty sure when my wife and I flew out to Cancun, I think it was like 15 degrees at the airport. We hop on the plane, we land in Cancun, and it's bright and sunny and 85 degrees. It was really nice to have a 70-degree swing in our weather and climate. So I think that there's probably a little bit of recency bias. We just came back from that trip in March.
Mm-hmm.
And so we really enjoyed that. But I mentioned Europe.
Mm.
Europe is definitely going to be my favorite trip because we get to go for 2 full weeks fully on points to celebrate our 10th anniversary.
Oh
So we're
my
gonna fly.
gosh.
We're gonna fly from Philadelphia to Amsterdam.
Mhm.
That was the lay flat business class seats. My wife really loves World War II history, so
Mhm.
we're gonna hit some of that along the way. Not necessarily tropical, but historical. So we're gonna hit the Netherlands,
Mhm.
medieval history in Germany. We're gonna hit Poland. My wife is Polish, has Polish roots. We're gonna have that very sobering experience of visiting Auschwitz while
Mhm.
there. We'll go through Prague in the Czech Republic, hit Vienna and Salzburg in Austria, and conclude our trip in Lucerne and Zurich, Switzerland,
Oy.
and then fly back from Zurich to the US again in lay flat business class seats. So 2 weeks, totally covered, fully on points, and I know that's gonna be my favorite trip because it's been quite a while since I've gotten a 2-week vacation, and to be able to get, I mean, that it's probably all in all, I think it's a $20,000 trip.
Oh, yeah, Europe's not cheap. So, I mean, just for transparency, my father was Hungarian, and I have family in Europe, and most of them are in the Brussels area. But I lived in Switzerland for 4 years in a prior life, and yeah, they don't see the sun either from November to April. I don't care what anybody says, unless you're up in the mountains, and they're like, "Oh, it's sunny up in the mountains." No one lives up there.
Right,
So
right.
I was in Geneva and Zurich. And I used to work for the airlines way back too, so you're gonna love it. Yeah, it's not tropical, but the history that's there, the beauty that is there. I mean, and when the weather is nice, Europe is amazing. And what's just so cool about it is it's geographically just a small place. So you just travel short distances and you're in all these completely different worlds. And yeah, you're gonna have an awesome time. So congrats to you for that. That's cool.
Thanks.
Very,
Thanks.
very cool. So I have to ask this too, because sometimes no matter what it is you're talking about, and you think you're offering all these really cool tips and suggestions, there's always that one person that asks for more. So when it comes to myths or just falsehoods that are out there about this, because there could be somebody listening that's going, "Yeah, I've heard about this before, and at the end of the day, it's all too good to be true," or whatever. What are like some of the myths that maybe you
Yep.
could fill us in on that people can just ignore or anything like that?
Yes. Yes. So I can relate to and respect the skepticism because I myself am a skeptic and a cynic when I hear things like this. So some of the biggest ones, a real big one for a lot of people is, will it mess up my credit score? Most people
Ah,
would say, man, I've worked years to be able to build a really high and respectable credit score. And the last thing I want to do is trade a good credit score for good travel deals.
mhm.
So that's a big myth. The reality is your credit score actually goes up
Mm,
when you sign up for new credit cards and you manage it responsibly. So the way I teach people to do it is pay everything off on time and in full every
yes.
month. So no interest, no late fees, no debt, and your credit score is actually going to grow. So my credit score was probably around 760 when
Mhm,
I started, which was in the excellent range.
mhm.
I think I've grown to like 820 now.
Oh,
Like my credit score has grown as I've grown in travel rewards, which has been great. I think another one is people often hear me say things like, I've earned 3 million travel rewards points now on my journey. And they go, okay, so like, am I just going to have to sign up for dozens and dozens of credit cards? That sounds complicating and stressful.
mhm.
No, the reality is that quality matters more than quantity. So it's not about this crazy random blitz of signing up for all kinds of credit cards in a flurry of activity. I would say the average family that I work with signs up for 2 to 3 cards
Mhm.
in their first year and earns over $5,000 in free travel through doing that.
Wow.
So, yeah, they're able to do that. And then probably the other one is sometimes people wonder, hey, do I have to be a high spender or a high earner? No, I'm neither one of those. I am not a high earner, nor am I a high spender. That's why I need travel hacking, which has been great. So those are a few of the many myths that people have. So I actually wrote a free guide. If you go to my website, travelmultiplier.com, on there you'll find a free 10-page guide called The Skeptic's Guide to Travel Hacking, where I go through and I bust some of the biggest myths.
Mhm.
And then I also tell some success stories of people who experience the opposite of what we fear through those myths.
Oh, wow.
Oftentimes we're worried, we're nervous, and we go, oh, what about this? Well, that's actually not true. And here's somebody who experienced the exact opposite
Mhm.
through travel hacking.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Well, we're definitely gonna have the link to that in our show notes after the show. What about annual fees. Now, the card that my wife and I have, again, we only have one, and I think it's like $90 a year, but they give you supposedly double points. Is that some kind of a marketing ploy as well that we should have avoided? Or what do you think about like double points and having to pay the fee?
Yeah. So you mentioned Capital One. I'm assuming that's probably the Capital One Venture card.
That's it. Yeah.
Likely. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a great card. I have that as well.
Oh, okay.
I typically don't recommend that as the first or the only card, but it is a good card in the arsenal. So yeah. So like for instance, the Chase Sapphire Preferred card that I mentioned, that has a $95 annual fee as well. So right off the bat, what you find is typically the welcome bonus, that 60,000 point bonus that I mentioned, typically the welcome bonus you get when you sign up for a card is worth 6 to 10 times more than the annual fee is. So, hey, you might pay a $95 annual fee, but you get $1,000 in free travel. Okay, well, I just 10x the value. That's great.
That's a no-brainer.
And a lot of times, credit card companies have even gotten more generous with the perks that they offer.
Mhm.
So one of the cards that I have gives me $10 in Instacart credit every month.
Oh, cool.
So it's a $95 annual fee, but I get $120 in free Instacart credit. Helps on the grocery bill.
Yeah.
Other ones offer $7 a month at Dunkin' Donuts. So there you go. You can get whatever that is, $84, I think it is, in free Dunkin' just through a $95 annual fee. And so oftentimes it's weighing, do the benefits outweigh the fee? And so $95 is pretty trivial in comparison to an oceanfront Cancun all-inclusive.
Exactly.
Because it's not just the perks that you get in the card. It's the destinations that it opens up for you.
Oh, yeah. You could otherwise never see.
Right. Because when you get into those points ecosystems, what you find is, hey, I never could have paid for a $4,000 plane ticket with these points if I didn't have this card. And so you look at the small amount of fee versus the immense amount of value, and it makes a huge difference.
That is brilliant. Love that. It's wow.
Can I give you a bonus? I'm going to give your listeners a quick bonus tip.
Yeah.
So with the annual fee, here's a trick that you can do. This is kind of an advanced strategy that people will do. Get the card, pay the annual fee, enjoy those points year one. When your annual fee comes up for renewal, call the credit card company and say, hey, I don't really think I'm experiencing the value of this card. I really don't like the annual fee. So I'm thinking about closing it. Are there any type of retention offers that are available? And so when you use those words, retention offers, that trigger something in their system that will do one of two things. It will either waive the annual fee for that year, or it will offer you bonus points. So some might come and say, hey, please, we really value you as a customer. We're going to give you an extra 10,000 points if you pay that $95 annual fee.
Wow.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Very good.
Yeah. So that can be another thing as well.
Oh, brilliant. Well, good. Well, this is just so good to know. And just to reconfirm, you haven't seen issues with blackout periods, the types of room you get the type of the rooms you'll get in the resorts. You're not restricted to like some kind of a crappy floor with a bad view, or that you're not next to the noisy elevator.
No, oftentimes it's quite the opposite. We've gotten like not the room downgrades, the room upgrades. We've gotten the club rooms, we've gotten the suites, we've gotten incredible things.
Man, I've been missing the boat on this, and here I am about the tropics. It's like I need to get on this bus.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, cool. Well, is there anything else you'd like people to know about you? Or I'm going to post the link to you in our show notes, but just to close out, what else, if anything, would you like people to know?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would love the opportunity to be able to work with any of you, to be able to help you unlock the secrets of free travel. You've heard just tip of the iceberg glimpses of small little statements, principles, realities, ideas that change the whole paradigm of what's possible for you. But the reality is there are over 90 different travel rewards credit cards on the market.
Oh, wow.
And all of them have full-time marketing departments whose job it is to convince you that they're the best. Those people are really good at their jobs.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes what happens is some of them get marketed as the best when they're actually the worst.
And you
So,
help people
knowing
guide through that. You guide them through that.
Yes. So it can be stressful and challenging trying to figure out which cards are worth it, which cards to get, what order to get them in. And I mean, the reality is getting that equation right or wrong is the difference in thousands of dollars in free travel. So if I could help with that, I'll save you time, I'll save you points, I'll save you money, I'll save you mistakes. I actually have a brand new travel hacking course coming out in mid-July. It's called Becoming a Travel Hacker: How to Unlock the Secrets of Free Travel. So my goal is, in that course, you'll go from feeling discouraged with your inability to afford travel to feeling empowered and equipped to take dream vacations for free using points and miles. So I would love to have you check that out. Tom, you said you're going to post the link. My
I
website
am.
is travelmultiplier.com.
I got that here.
Feel free to reach out to me personally. My email is tim@travelmultiplier.com. If you have questions, thoughts, feedback, ideas, I'd love to interact with any of the listeners and be able to help you experience the freedom of free travel.
Well, I think that is awesome. And honestly, I can't thank you enough. I mean, out of all the options that we have for guests on the show, you've been just huge, because when it comes to what we do here, for people that have traveled, we encourage them and guide them how to continue that experience at home. But they've traveled, they've seen something, and for future trips, we encourage people to pay attention to the details. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What is it about the tropics that speaks to you so badly that you don't want to come home? And then for the people that have never traveled or they only dream of it, we encourage them to travel. Well, how do you do that when you're on a budget or whatever? We point them to you. That's what we do.
There you go.
Well, Tim, thank you so much. This has been fun. I have learned a lot, and I'm going to check this course out in July too. So
Awesome.
really,
Thanks so much for having me.
thanks so much for taking time out of your busy day. We really appreciate it, and we're going to stay in touch.
Sounds great.
All right. Thanks so much, Tim. You take care. So everyone, we hope you really enjoyed this show. Again, that was Tim Walker from Travel Multiplier. You can visit him at travelmultiplier.com, and we do have the link to this site in our show notes. And you can also visit him on Facebook, Travel Multiplier. He has a page there. Or you can just go ahead and send Tim an email. He is tim@travelmultiplier.com. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this show. I think a lot of people will be able to use the knowledge that he shared. And yeah, go ahead and check out how you can use those points. As you know, we're all about encouraging travel to anywhere, really. But of course, our focus is the tropics. And for those of you who thought maybe you could never travel, here's your chance. You can see those awesome tropical locations. You can go there for yourself. You can get inspired, bring those ideas back home, and create your own tropical escape at home. So thanks so much for joining, and we will see you guys again next week. Take care. Bye-bye.